Hi, I'm Margie with Flow Motion Education, and this is the Biomechanics of Breathing, not even 101, 001, just really rudimentary introduction. But these are things that I've been seeing a lot in my client pool lately, so instead of explaining it over and over, I'm making a video. So if you've worked with me before, you know that I really like my clients to visualize their actual skeletons, like what's actually moving when you're breathing. I'm not even going to talk about the diaphragm. That'll be actually breathing 101. So this is 001. So what I want you to imagine, we're going to imagine what bones move when we take an inhale. So here's the rib cage. And your lungs live inside the rib cage, and in order for inhalation, optimal inhalation, we need to expand the volume within what's called the thoracic cavity or the rib cage cavity where your lungs live. So there are going to be three primary bone movements, and then we're going to sit down and actually feel them. But movement number one, and these are all kind of standard, I didn't make any of these up. These are sort of standard textbook breathing biomechanics. So one image that's in just about every textbook I've ever looked at, and I'm a textbook junkie, so I have a lot of anatomy biomechanics books. It's a little bit of a problem. But one image that's used pretty universally is the bucket handle image. So your ribs are like a bucket handle. Each rib is like a bucket handle. So you got bucket handles on both sides and up and down the rib cage. And the image is that as you inhale, this bucket handle lifts. And that's a big exaggeration. Another image that's just about in every single textbook I've ever looked at, which is a lot, is pump handles. So the sternum or your breastbone here, this is a little bit more subtle to feel, but we're still going to use it. It will move as you inhale like a pump handle, and as you exhale, it comes back down. And that's a huge exaggeration, but that's the direction of motion. So we have the bucket handles on both sides, and then in the middle we have the pump handle. And the final biomechanics that we're going to be thinking about, and this one is not a standard in textbooks. I was geeking out with a friend and I found it in one of my textbooks. I know it's out there elsewhere, but it's not a standard. It's way less standard. Is ice tongs. So back when, before people had refrigerators, they'd go buy blocks of ice and they would use these ice tongs, if you can kind of picture, to pick up the ice. I should have a picture with me. Next video, I'll have a picture with me. So your bottom ribs are like these ice tongs. And as you inhale, they open out on both sides. And as you exhale, they close. So one of the things I'm going to be cueing you to feel is the back rib, the lower ribs in the back, actually expanding backwards. Okay, so now we're going to actually experience those movements. You will need a chair, and you're going to take a yoga strap or a bathrobe belt and put it around your rib cage at the level of your bottom rib. So really kind of find, it's going to be pretty close to your waist, maybe a tiny bit above the waist, but pretty close to the waist. And then you're going to cross the strap. Now we're using the strap, you're going to cinch it, not real tight like a corset, but a little bit. And what we're using the strap for is giving you some proprioceptive feedback, because I'm going to cue you to inhale. And the bucket handle, you're going to feel your ribs push out into the strap. That's what the strap is for, to give you feedback. So just make it tight enough that you have something to push into on the sides. And take an inhale. And as you exhale, just notice that I don't want you cinching it or pulling tight, but just notice that there's inhale pressure on the strap, exhale, and you relieve some of the pressure as the bucket handles drop. So let's do that again. Inhale, exhale. And then before you take the next hand, just pull it a little tight so you have something, you feel something to push into. I'm going to show you from the back so you can see how much my ribs move on my inhalation. And I'm still working on it. They could move more. Okay, so that's our bucket handle. And then we're going to just move the strap up a little higher. So kind of we're not going up to the armpits. We're sort of halfway between the waist and the armpits. It can be approximate. And we're going to do the same thing. And this one is to more give you a sense of the pump handle expansion. So again, you're going to cinch the strap just enough so that you feel you have something to push into. And this time I want you to think of mostly pushing into the front. As you exhale, just tighten the strap a little bit so you have something to push into. Now, I want you to do this later in front of a mirror, and if you observe, your homework is to tell your brain, no, this is not serving you. It's just going to make you tense. It's going to make you a shallow breather. So I've seen it happen in all of my clients. It is possible to get this pattern out of the picture, especially when we get things moving down here. This stress breathing, shallow breathing, is a compensation for ribs not moving down below. And then the final biomechanical piece is you're going to place a hand kind of upper abdominal and one low abdominal, and you're just listening with your hands. And as you inhale, I want you to visualize from the base of your breastbone, base of the breastbone to the pubic bone. As you inhale, I want you to imagine a dome. So the reason we're doing this is to give your brain the message, it's okay to release the abdominal wall. We all want to look skinny and everybody walks around sucking it and tightening, or you've been taught to brace your core. Or I don't know where this idea, I think it's mostly people are holding it in because they want that six-pack and they want to look thin. But that is not serving you. I got news. To breathe, you got to let it all out. So lower abdomen, upper abdomen, and you're going to take an inhale, picturing the dome on of the abdominal wall from your pubic bone to your sternum. And exhale. Again, just allow the recoil to happen. Don't actively exhale. Just allow the exhale to happen in the abdominal wall to recoil. Inhale. Exhale. Now, check in with your hands. You should feel them both start to move at the same time. I think that's the first time it ever worked for me. I've been working on this for a while. Usually one hand moves first, but you ideally would like them both to move at the same time, visualizing that dome. So I'm just going to leave you with one lovely image that I've heard in many of my courses, but it's a beautiful image for the 360 expansion of the rib cage. Remember, it expands to the back, the ice tongs. It expands to the sides of the bucket handles, and it expands to the front, the pump handle. So one beautiful image is your rib cage is an umbrella, and it's going to open, we say, in 360. So all the way around, a little higher than the, around the vicinity of the waist, maybe a tiny bit higher. So umbrella opens, 360, and the umbrella closes. And I'm just going to leave you with that and go ahead and have fun playing with your breathing. Oh, one last thing. I have had many clients ask me the best position to practice this. And I think upright is maybe the best, but I actually recommend, since you need to breathe when you're lying down, when you're standing, when you're seated, on your stomach, on your side, if you sleep in different positions at night, you need to be able to breathe. So go ahead and practice this once you've found all the movements. I actually encourage you to practice in many different positions. Thanks for watching.